Yo, what's going on, guys? Koi here. Today we're going to be making a power tier list for anime power defense. Now, there's going to be some surprising powers here that you guys have probably never seen before. There's going to be some that you guys are so tired of seeing, and there's going to be some that people don't even know about. So there are some of these that do exist here, and some of them do. You have to kind of craft them. Some of them you could just get them by chance, but it really just depends. So we're not going to go based off that. We're going to go based off of them in general. How useful are they? How powerful are they? And then we're just going to keep going based off that. So first things first, let's go ahead and dip into it. We got basic. Basic is obviously probably one of the worst ones ever due to the fact that basic only gives you minus well, it just takes away placement cost by 25 bucks. Not 25%, not like 25 like 100. No, it's just 25 general. So if you have a unit that costs about 500, it's only going to take 25 off of that, making the unit placement cost 475, which, if it was stronger, it would be more useful, but right now it's really not. We're also going to get rid of some of the more mediocre ones that are just obviously low level and too easy to get. That would be the 2% range. 2% range is going to be common. We have the uncommon, which is just increases the range by 5%, which is so mediocre. And then we also have the attack speed plus 2% from bronze. Then we have the attack speed plus 5% silver. And some of you guys are like, well, these things are so good. These are really good ideas. And yes, but the reason they're so bad is because they're only like 5%. Listen, 5% of 2 seconds is just another 0.2 seconds. You know what I mean? Or something like that. Or less than that, honestly. Point 0.2, negative point 0.2. It's not that negative point 0.1 really, or less. It's just so bad. It's so below. The only like numbers that actually matter whenever it comes down to percentage is we're talking about 20% and above. If it's not 20% and above, I don't want it on my plate. Get it away from me. All right, that's just the way things work with math. All right, so we got weak, which just gives us the ability to get 2% damage, and then we have rare, which literally just gives us a little more range by 7%. We got strong, which just increases damage plus 5%. Like I said, it's all mediocre. Attack speed plus 8% gold. The only like decent one I would say is because that's actually not too bad if you're gonna try to cut down an SPA. So I'd say that's like a C. That's like the only one. Like going to 8%, kind of going to 10%, kind of there. Same thing with mighty. Mighty, you could just throw on maybe a smaller unit that needs like a little bit of a buff, but if it isn't like end game, it's just so mid. Let's see. Increases the chance to perform another ability between each attack. 2% chance from angry. In theory, this works, but the only problem is it's okay at best because it's still a 2% chance to even happen when there's another one that actually is way better. Chained randomly disables a target enemy moving in a short period of time. So it's kind of like a lockdown, which is like a more decent category of lockdowns. It doesn't say the percentage type or how long it's going to take to actually trigger this, so I cannot judge this for sure. It just there's not enough information on this to make it either better or worse. So this is like the more middle grounds. We got Frost. One in every six attacks will slow a target enemy by 50% for 4 seconds. That 4 seconds is incredibly critical, especially if you're hitting multiple enemies at once. This is probably one of our first better, definitely one of our first better abilities. Slow down is much good. Very good CC. All right. So one in every 9 attacks will stun an enemy. Now, stun would be better with electricity, obviously, but it doesn't say for how long, and it's probably only a second. Then the whenever I've seen a lot of stuns in this game, they only last like a second, and it's not a lot. It doesn't feel like a lot compared to slowing them down. I feel like you get a lot more worth from frost than you do electric, making electric to me even B tier in some cases. Uh, okay, we got platinum. Increases attack speed plus 10%. That's like all right. I wouldn't say that's good. I would say that's okay at best. Let's see. We have rage. This one, rage perform another attack between each attack by 5%. increase the chances to perform another attack. Now with this, right, rage, it's one of those again like 5% chance. It's not that big of a chance. If you have a high SPA, you could totally hit that. I would say it's more along the lines of like the top of C. I would not consider it like B though, like more useful than these, because at least you get some type of worth from these in some way, shape, or form. The ability to attack twice just doesn't really work for a lot of like heavy hitters. And if you're going to be using someone with a low SPA, you might as well use like a CC ability to help everyone else in your heavy hitter category actually do some damage. All right, so we got Ignitus, one of the more upgraded ones. Apply fire damage to one enemy in every 8 attacks. 50% of the unit's base damage. That is so good, you have no idea what this means. So let's say you're using someone like Minato who already does about like, let's say the DPS of about like 200 damage a second. And we're talking about a 400 damage attack. That's an extra 200 damage, which equals 400 DPS. Pretty much almost doubling your DPS just because of this, because of his very, very short cooldowns. So Ignitus is just so good. Very, very good of an ability. I definitely would put it on most of my damaging units, especially the ones with the faster SPA. The 1 in 8 enemy, like the 1 in 8 attacks is kind of rough. It's not a percentage chance, but it's still that 50% extra damage goes a long way. All right. Let's see. 10 Blizzard, 10% chance uh to cause a hailstorm, slowing all enemies for like nearby. So this in general would definitely be up there. I would say it's definitely going to be better than Frost because it does have an area of effect. You're not relying on that Frost thing to hit them. You know what I mean? It is by chance going to be a little bit better. I would say that it's like slightly better than like Frost, but I wouldn't say it's better than getting more damage. Because of the fact that it is like it is AoE, but it's still like I don't know. I don't know how long the hailstorm lasts. That's the thing. It doesn't really say how long the hailstorm lasts. Personally speaking, I would just throw this on a high SPA character and let him just do the work, just to like really just get stuff done. We also got buff, which increases unit damage and range. This is one of those free to play ones you could kind of put on any character. So it is very, very nice the fact that you can do that. You can put buff on almost any character in the game, due to the fact that like you could just craft this with a bunch of mediocre ones. So if you are a newer player and you have a bunch of these, I would just make buff for every single one of your characters if you don't have anything better, because 10% damage and range is still slightly better. 25% chance with every strike to poison the target enemy, dealing damage over time. Toxic. People do love toxic. The damage over time effect is incredibly good, especially with the 25% chance. I would say that it's even better than Ignis. But it's really hard to say because damage over time, uh, it doesn't really appeal to me, because I would say that damage over time compared to just doing 50% extra damage, I feel Ignis is still better. You can fight me with in the comments about that. I think that in this regard, I think that Ignis doing 50% more damage, especially with a heavy hitting unit, could do a lot more work than hitting Toxic at a 25% chance. But I would say they're more on the same category. You know what I mean? Fury. Increase the chance to perform another ability between each attack by 8%. Now, this one is literally just in the same category as like all of them else. The only difference is I'm just going to put it up here just because of percentage sake. 8% is not too bad. We got Nebula. Every 7 hits creates a powerful gas that harms all enemies in a small area. If this was slightly bigger, I would make it a contender for like all these others, but I would say it's a high A to me, because the only issue with Nebula is it's kind of like it works for a little bit, and then after that, it hits like a few of the enemies. It's really good there. And then after that, it's just not big enough to really cover too much ground. By the time it's already gone, the nebula is already like, and the next, units are coming over to the nebula. It's already going to be gone, and then the nebula is not big enough to kind of cover a lot of the area. This is like okay, but I wouldn't say it's either good or like good against like any of these other really, really S tier powers, because of the fact that nebula just doesn't last long enough. And it's like that's much worse than being able to like do damage in general. We got Volt, randomly striking down an enemy unit, stunning them and damaging them. This is like kind of nice. It just doesn't really say the amount of work that it could do. Doesn't say percentage chance or anything like that. But I would say it's a high A because the ability to just do some extra damage to stun, it's like a better version of electric. So I would say it's still like up there, especially whenever it comes down to CC and doing extra damage. It's more of like along the lines of like a good mid tier, high tier character, like high tier power. So I wouldn't say it's too crazy. Explosive. Now we're getting into like the very, very high power, by the way. Generates explosives dealing target damage heavily, but small AoE damage. So it does do extra damage to the target. It just does a little extra damage to the enemies as well. So I mean, that is kind of good. It's definitely more along the lines of like a very useful tactic because it just kind of like hits the main character for bonus damage and also strikes all the other characters at the same time. It's literally along the lines of like doing all the work. And if you put this on the right character, you can do a lot of work with this character. Let's see. We got plasma. This is also one of those craftable ones that are like really good. 13% chance to apply plasma, dealing enemy target brief dealing damage to the target with a brief stun, dealing 70% of the unit's damage over 8 seconds of time is insane to me because that's so much damage, just very guaranteed damage with a percentage chance. All right, this is like our first probably godly tier thing that you can craft, especially for the end game. So thank you. Yeah, very very freaking good, very good indeed. Uh huh. The we're not on that one yet. We're on Blink. Blink is the 10% chance with every attack to send the enemy backwards to where they once were. This isn't like the craziest. I would say it's one of the very good CC abilities that's very useful. I wouldn't say it's like the most incredible for sure, because of the fact that Blink only jots them down only so much distance. All right, and next we're going to be talking about Gust. Gust is very, very good. Gust is the ability to pretty much knock them back in general. Harness the ability of the winds to, with a rare chance to sweeping back from the targeted area. This is kind of nice, but I wouldn't say it's like as good as some of the more destructive abilities up here. I would say it's like more along the lines of like something Blizzard could already do, but better. So I wouldn't say it's like up there at all. It's probably my least favorite out of all of them because of the fact that it's just like a weaker version of Blink to me. I would even put Blink because of damage wise. I would even put Blink probably right here. Blink is very good, but there's another one up here that's going to be even better. So increase. We're going to be talking about Supercharge. Increase unit attack speed by 10% and harness a powerful stun and strike enemies with voltage strikes. So this is one of those like bonus ones. Like it just kind of like has very very good striking capability. The only issue is it's just like to do a 10% attack speed is okay. For something this okay, I would say it's like definitely up here. But these that bonus damage, your main these that guarantee more damage is just much better than like damage in general. You know what I mean? And the stun ability, very very nice. I would even say it's like slightly on par with plasma, but plasma just does more damage. So I wouldn't say that it's like up there. Unless someone could prove me wrong and this percentage is much higher than it actually looks to be. Then, we'll see what happens. I have one that I use quite a bit, which is Storm. No lie, I'm out of the honeymoon phase for Storm. I would say that Storm is all right at best, especially because Storm just doesn't last very long. It just feels like a stronger version of Blizzard. And with this stronger version of Blizzard, it does have some benefits of storming down and kind of stun locking enemies for a little bit for a large duration, which makes it very good. But I would also take like damage over that, but probably in this like ability. Yeah, this would make a lot more sense to me. We're probably moving these around a little bit depending on like how many we put up here. Let's see. Berserk. This is another one of those 15% chance to like bonus attack. 15% chance is like kind of nice. It is like a bit of a bonus. I would say it's like right there maybe. No, I wouldn't say that. I would say okay, this is right here. Gust is probably down here. Blizzard's probably the top of A, and then blink is okay. So yeah, berserk is like right there because 15% chance. It's better than most, honestly. It's very very good. We got divine. 3% chance to send a barrage of divine arrows, damaging and making enemies vulnerable to future attacks, increasing the damage by 50% for 5 seconds. The problem with this, right, is that it's a 3% chance, and that is just so freaking bad for something that is this freaking rare. I wouldn't even consider this I wouldn't even consider this up here because of its usefulness. A 3% chance when Blizzard could be doing all the work here. Divine is just needs a buff because a 3% chance of like doing the divine arrows when there's things up here like freaking plasma that you could craft, and this thing gives you 70%. It's a 13% chance to deal stun and apply 70% damage to the unit based off the unit's damage. That's much better than having to wait for Divine's 3% chance to proc. And there's like another one here that's just like, to do an extra 50% damage is mediocre. Very mediocre. All right, we got Ether. Ether is very funny. It's probably one of the more meme categories because it's just that 0% chance. I mean, it's that 1% chance to just instantly send them to the nether realm. And it's just hilarious. So, I'm just going to go like, uh, we're going to make another category, row above. And then we're going to do, let's see. We're going to do it, make it like green. And we're going to, no, not green, probably blue. Yeah, blue. We'll make it blue. And then we'll call this the meme category. Yeah, the meme category. That makes a lot more sense. And that's exactly where we're going to put Ether. Ether is just such a meme of an ability. It just doesn't make much sense. Oh, Fire Tornado. One of the craftable ones that you can make for the end game. Periodically call forth a Fire Tornado to, like, hang on one second. To periodically call on a Fire Tornado. All right. Last bit on Flame Tornado, though. Flame Tornado definitely is one of the better contenders for a free to play end game move that's just super useful to craft and stuff like that. I would say it's definitely up there with Godly for something that's so useful. It's periodically call forth a tornado, so it doesn't even have a percentage. It just happens over time. And an overtime effect is much better than having to either rely on a percentage or a one out of something chance. You know what I mean? So it's really, really good. Um, okay, so over here we got the next one, which is Arcane Sun. With every hit, units have a 5% chance to summon a celestial orb that in the air levitates enemies into the center before exploding. Now, this is very, very cool. A 5% chance is not bad. I just don't know the damage. You know what I mean? For a 5% chance and a CC ability, that is incredibly solid. But I just don't know what the pure damage is for Arcane Sun. Now, if someone else could freaking bring this up and actually let me know if this is like super super good or if it's overrated, let me know down below. But from what I'm thinking here, this should be end game as crap, and the damage should be incredible, especially if it's going to slowly, periodically, bring them into the middle and then explode at the same time. That sounds very, very good as a CC ability and a damage dealing ability. So I can't say that it's bad. Now another one that's just very freaking good is just time stop, time freeze. It's just very freaking good. Good damage, amazing damage. It's just time freeze, like time stop. If you freeze time, GG's. You know what I mean? That's just literally what everyone wants in a tower defense game is the ability to freeze time. If I had this thing, I'd be using it all the time. All right. Let's see. We have another one called Ethereal. Ethereal is like supposed to be better than like time stop, but it just opens a portal in front of the enemies, kind of sends them back in time. And it's like, okay, but where's the damage? And, just because of its rarity, I would put it up here, but I wouldn't even say it's better than Arcane Sun at that point because Arcane Sun has a 5% chance to do damage and CC at the same time, which I believe is far more useful than just opening a portal. So that's just me, though. If you guys think that I'm wrong for that, then let me know down below, because you got some of you guys probably have ethereal and I don't. Let's see, Phantom. Oh no, giant army of ghosts. I have no clue what this does, but it sounds cool as hell, so I'm gonna put it up here. All right. Let's see. We have Astral. Every 10th attack, the unit will cause a comet to fall down from the sky. I have no clue how good the damage is for this thing, but I'm just gonna think it's like we'll do it more like this. Yeah, I feel good about this. All right, I think this is like the move. I think this is actually the move. So yeah, I think you guys got the gist of what I'm kind of aiming for here. More along the lines of trying to get some of these buffed. Like Divine could be so much better if it just had a way higher percent chance. 3% is like almost nigh no percent. Even with a fast SPA character, man, I don't know. When you could literally do the same thing with Plasma, but better. All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell down below. And if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, arguments, uh, bad messages, leave those for Discord because they're probably going to get blocked by YouTube if they end up like being told in the chat. But thank you guys for watching. Take it easy. Peace out.